Welcome to Know Your Candidate podcast. This is an opportunity for candidates from across Tauranga City wards to tell their stories, their experiences, their reasonings in their own words. A format which gives them more than the public debates and profiles that you've seen already. An opportunity for the voter, the ratepayer, future resident to get to know who you want leading the city and, importantly, are they capable of doing so? Anne Pankhurst, a previous business owner, councillor and political junkie, will find out more why the candidates want to run, where they have come from, what they're going to do. So let's not wait anymore. Let's go.
Hi, Anthony. You're Anthony Goddard. You're standing in the Arataki ward and for mayoral.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
Excellent. So what we'll do is welcome to this Know Your Candidate podcast series. Our format today is taking the opportunity for a longer, more conversational approach.
Yep.
So you, the candidate, can speak and share your own aspirations for the city.
Yeah, cool.
Take about 20 to 30 minutes answering pre-prepared questions of which you've got no idea what they are.
Yeah, awesome.
The most important aspect of this election is that you vote and that you encourage everyone to vote. Democracy works when we all engage, actively take part, learn about our candidates, understand what is important to us and for the future of the city. So remember to follow your Know Your Candidate series on thepodhub.com. So, Anthony, can you give us a brief rundown on yourself, who you are, children, no children, what you've done in the past? Give us a brief bio on yourself.
Yeah, sweet. So yeah, I'm Anthony Goddard, and I got one wife and two little kids. Yeah, Charlie and Billy, 5 and 3. So they keep us super occupied when we're not working. And yeah, I've got a few different companies doing all different trades, and it keeps me super busy without stepping into this sort of role of things. But you can't try and make a change without putting your hand up to do it, you know? So that's probably been the reason that I'm actually going into this, is because you can't complain if you haven't put your hand up to give it a crack. You know, like there's a lot of people I've spoken to and they're like, you're so brave and that. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm also super opinionated on the situations. And the only way to actually get someone to listen to you is to step forward and, you know, step up. It's, it's been quite the process so far. You know, I'm amazed, like just going around speaking to people and they're like, oh, I just don't actually vote. I just don't vote. And you're like, well, could you vote for me, mate? And they're like, yeah, I'll vote for you, you know? But as a whole, you know, like people just don't care enough to vote. They're going to put themselves out there and go and vote for anyone, you know, except for the people that do actually care, which is, you know, going off election records. It's not a hell of a lot, you know, it should be more. But, you know, unless it's actually turns into some sort of law that we're going to fine you if you don't vote, you know, like Australia does, what's the point, you know? But at the end of the day, people just don't care enough for it. They'll complain, but they'll do nothing about it. So yeah, I thought, fuck it. If I'm going to do it, I might as well put myself out there and give it a crack. So that's me. Yeah.
So I'm just going to pick up on something that you said through your intro, that you have a number of businesses.
Yes.
So let's assume you win the mayoral candidacy.
Yep.
And tell me how you're going to manage all of your businesses and the mayoralty role.
Yes. So yeah, I'm lucky I've got a good team. That's all of it. I've got a great team that manages the business while I'm not there, you know, so I can step out and do my own thing rather than having to be involved with it every day and making decisions. My team make the decisions and I just overlook it. You know, it's not very often that I have to go out there and tell people how to do it. They already know how to do the job. So that's how I would, you know, raise the company to be what it is, rather than relying on me to do it. Like we spoke with Tony and old mate last year about the business, and like I had a business partner involved and he stepped out and yeah, threw a spanner in the works, but we got through it and the business is stronger than it's ever been. So it's been quite good. So yeah.
So what kind of time commitment do you think the mayoralty is?
Oh, full time, greater than full time. Yeah, massively. No.
And you're prepared to do you've got the mechanisms in behind you to manage that commitment.
Yeah.
So what do you see the role of mayor as?
Right now, whoever gets in is just going to be target practice. That's all it's going to be. You know, they're going to...
You say that?
Because people are so opinionated. Like I've copped a lot of hate online over the last couple of weeks, for the way you're pronouncing staff or your views on situations, people are going to be coming at you. You're going to have to be mentally tough for that, which I am. Speaking to other candidates, you can see when people threw a tough question at them, they would they'd question themselves on their own. They don't respond to it, like someone comes at you and it's like, oh, what are you going to do with this? Or how are you going to change that? You got to answer straight away. You can't stutter it. And that's what people have been doing, or there's a lot of, I think this should happen, or I think you should be doing this, that's what you should be doing, but people don't say that. You don't come out there and say, I know this is what needs to happen. They go, I think we should be doing this.
Right.
It's yourself. You got to be confident in it. And there's a lot of people there, even in Arataki board, there's, speaking to a few of them, they were saying that it's such a different way that they've pushed themselves to do something that they haven't done, and their confidence level isn't there yet, and they're like, how do you deal with it? And I was like, oh mate, I cop shit every day, from running a business, either be your guys have stuffed something up or something's happened on site, it's everything comes at you all the time, so this is just a different game, I suppose. Yeah.
So can I ask another question about that time commitment as mayor?
Yeah.
If something happened in your business that was catastrophic or you needed to go,
yep,
what would be your response in that situation? Would you stay in a meeting that you were absolutely meant to be in, or that you'd been on a plane to Wellington? And how would you manage that moment?
Yeah, so that would be all situation dependent. That's all.
Right.
Yeah, just situation dependent. Like there's a lot of guys there, they're either retired or semi-retired going for it. Fuck, they're old, man. No, that's honestly what it is. They're old. You're doing something that you really shouldn't be doing. And this council, this city needs someone who's got a future plan and shit and got life left in them. Not, I'm going to be out after my term because I'm going to be 70 plus years old. I really shouldn't be doing this anymore.
Right.
You're going to put yourself into a lot of stressful situations, like with the decisions that have been made or the meetings that you're going to be having. You got to be confident in yourself that you're going to live. You're literally going to live beyond your term.
So, next question: Have you had any previous governance roles, and if so, what would have been the biggest budget you've worked with?
No, negative for the governance roles. This all business. This is all business. We're multi-million-dollar deals as it is through business, and the only one profiting at the end of the day is me from that.
Right.
Like,
right. That's your
governance. Yeah.
You've not been in a governance role anywhere.
No. Right. I haven't really, personally cared for the government sort of roles until probably 5 years ago.
Right.
Back to New Zealand, and you started to think like, shit, the decisions that these guys are making are literally affecting my business. Previous to that, you just did what you did,
Right.
Yeah, you turned up to work, you did your job, everyone got paid, everyone's happy, and you move on, and that's just a repetitive cycle. And now it's actually stuff they're deciding is affecting me and my business.
So can I pick up on that? What are the decisions that have been made that are affecting you and your business?
Right now?
Mm.
Yeah, commissioners being involved with it, that's the biggest one. We need a council where stuff is actually voted on, but then looking at how they've come across and they've asked for people's opinions or they've got professionals' advice and then gone the complete opposite way. So then you start looking into it, you're going, shit, is this? Are they bettering themselves for the future from their decisions right now? You're looking at, the commissioners.
How would that happen?
It could be a number of reasons. The decisions that they make that could be involved with different companies that are going to profit from these sort of scenarios.
Do you not think that they would have had to have declared that as a conflict?
Oh, yes. Yeah, they would have. But then, they're
very hard for them. They would have to withdraw if there was any monetary gain from any decisions they'd made.
Oh, massively. Yeah, massively. And that is exactly what everyone's doing in business. You have to declare it. Yeah, we need to dealing with certain people in certain scenarios. But you've got to look at how's the future going to be with their decisions that they've made now. Some of the decisions that they're making, I'll be profiting from it right now. So I'm all for some of what they're doing. I think the way they've gone about it is incredibly wrong. We have to have community involvement with everything that's being made, because people just aren't, everyone I've spoken to, and this is everyone, from, your 18, 19-year-olds all the way up to your 70-plus-year-olds, is that they don't have their voice being heard. And
Is that the same as my voice isn't heard if you don't agree with me?
No, because it needs to be like we're a democratic society, so everything needs to be put to a vote before progression, not put to a vote. They decide on what they think is best. What you think is best, I could be like, well, I want to mow my grass every week because that's the way I like it. Someone else is going, well, I do it every 3 weeks because that's the way I like it. There's no difference in right or wrong. It's just the way that someone thinks.
So, okay, it's a really good analogy. So somebody wants it mowed every 3 weeks.
Yep.
And they want it mowed every 3 weeks because it's very expensive to mow it on a weekly basis. This person wants to mow it on a weekly basis. So if I was sort of taking that, we end up making a decision at large for the wider city.
Perfect.
But your ratepayers go, well, we want it 3 weekly, say, and the Mātua ones want it weekly. How are you going to manage that conflict where you have to make a decision at large for the wider community, but your ratepayers are not thrilled to bits with the decision you've made? How do you manage that conflict?
So that we have to sit, like, love to say we love to sit down with people, but people don't have the time to sit down. People would rather fill out a form online. This is the XYZ. This is the results from that. You have to put it to a vote of the community, not just a certain amount of people that would turn up. Going off the meetings that I've been to and the discussions over the last couple of weeks, the average age in there would be early 60s, early 60s.
Do you think there should be an age limit?
No, there shouldn't be an age limit, but there should be younger people being involved with it.
And so can I ask, do you understand what the demographic of the voter is?
Yeah, but you'd have to put it out to, shit, you got to make stuff easier rather than turning up to discuss stuff. Shit, can you put it to an app? This is, but then there's the other side of it is that apps can be hacked and manipulated to suit situation, like we've seen in the States with their voting. It is a hard thing to do, but then majority of people, especially like we're using this analogy about the lawnmower, I'd say most people just don't care. There'll be a lot of people there that just go, oh, fuck, if it's every 3 weeks, it's every 3 weeks. And then there's, there'll be a select group of people that will be like, well, it needs to be done every week. And it's just not going to. So you got to come to some sort of compromise going, these guys don't really care. These guys want it every week. Maybe we should be doing it every 2 weeks. But then you got to look at the budget side of things, and the budget is the biggest thing. And that's what everyone's whinging about now, is that you don't want to be putting the city into $3 billion of debt in 10 years. Yeah, that's a fucking lot of debt for how many assets that we have. $3 billion. And at the end of the day, most people I've spoken to just don't care enough about it. They're not going to care enough to go out there and vote to make a change, to be like, oh, well, shit, it's not our money. People who just literally pack up and leave and go overseas and go back to Australia and, make money rather than here and look at the government and go, oh, sweet, we put ourselves into a recession, paying ourselves out through COVID and that. But people still survived, and businesses survived, and now businesses are suffering for it because no one's got any money to survive. You don't go out there and get the fancy milk. Now you go and get the budget stuff because it's $2 cheaper. Previous to COVID, everyone had $1 and everyone was doing what they thought was right with their lives. And now people aren't, and I've noticed it in business that people don't want to go out there and spend more on, say, their home heating because it's just too expensive to do first up. Rather before, during COVID, everyone was getting money for nothing. And that was brilliant, brilliant. Keep everyone happy. And now we're dealing with the outcome of it, the outfall. And it's sad, speaking to a mate last week. And he was saying that now he's getting pulled up by his missus, for buying the fancy baked beans over the value range. That's only, say, $1 difference. But $1 over a year, and every time you're buying the baked beans, that could be an extra $200 a year just by changing brands. So the money is a massive thing with people.
And following on from that, a funding for the huge infrastructure spend is one of the biggest that she's facing the city.
Yeah.
What would some of your solutions be for that?
We've got to reevaluate on where that money's going to be going into the infrastructure. Like, we've got to be looking at, especially the amount, like this 22 meter sort of rise thing that everyone's up against. It's a brilliant idea to go and build stuff. But when the evidence is there from all the professionals to come in and say, no, that's a bad idea because of all our infrastructure, our transport, roading, wastewater, stormwater, the whole lot isn't sufficient. We need to reevaluate, maybe we shouldn't be going ahead with that sort of scenario rather than pushing it, over the Tauranga CBD where the infrastructure is there to a point, but it's not there to a point that we can just go and do it and everything's going to survive. The roading here is crap. The design roading that would have been great 10 years ago.
So what would your solution to the funding models be? Because that's what basically the infrastructure is needed, roads, rats and drains, but the funding is simply a humongous problem for that. It's not that we do or don't need it, we do.
Mm.
I'm interested in your idea of what a funding solution would be.
We have to look at alternative options of funding rather than
Yes.
just pillaging all the people that live here. We got to look at shit. Maybe we should be charging for, here's a simple scenario. Let's start charging for parking down Ocean Beach Road.
And how much do you think that's going to earn you to cover off $100 million of infrastructure?
That could be an extra, $1 million a year, $2 million a year just in parking. And that's only a small thing, but you could implement little changes that will do it. And shit, if you really want to start winding people up with doing what people don't want to do, start looking at job cuts in the council, because the council, they're the biggest money wasters ever. I literally spoke with one of the council ladies last week and she was setting up a display and I was like, this is probably one of the worst things I've ever seen. And then someone else came and looked at her work and patted her on the back over. I thought, fuck, what a waste of 3 hours for these guys. There's a massive amount of money pissed away on salaries. You're looking at every company at the moment, everyone's pulling back on their staffing numbers because they just need the staff.
You're looking at that from owning a business and managing many teams. You don't think that a $6 billion plus business needs a big staff to manage, given the range of functions that council's expected to perform?
Yeah, see that, saying that, you don't need 10 people to do 2-person job. You just don't.
So who decides whether it's a 2-person job or a 10-person job?
Well, that will be decided by whoever's managing those teams. Those guys will be saying, we need 5 guys to do this and fucking 10 guys to hold each other's hands with that. Do you really need that many amount of staff?
But if you're a governor, how do you implement, and your thinking is that that's too many staff, that's your position. How do you take that from that's my position at the governance table to the team below? What would the methodology be to do that?
That'll be sitting down in discussions. It'd be just discussions and saying, how many people do we actually need to do these roles? Like any business, but it's not being run as a business. The councils are not being run as a business. Then just going, okay, I need to make more money, so let's charge people more. That's ridiculous. You need to be going out there going, okay, people are up in arms about this. How can we make more money? And there's people that's, they go to university and they learn exactly, about the budgeting and all that side of it. Those are the professionals that need to ask opinions rather than just going, okay, sweet, this is our budget for the next 10 years. Let's increase everything, piss everyone off and expect everyone to be happy with it. People will leave. If you want to bring people in, you got to make it easy to be here, not upset people and people start removing themselves from the situation. People start coming in. That's more money in rates, everything else that people are using.
Do you not believe that we've got one of the highest growth rates in the country? It doesn't seem to be slowing people down, to be fair.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. And when you look back to COVID, everyone was making money on their Auckland houses and they're coming straight here because our prices weren't as dear. There's going to be a time there that our growth rates will stop, and our infrastructure is suffering massively for it. We've got a whole Tap Mile East with absolutely no supermarket down there. It's in the process, but it's not there. You got to drive.
What's council's role in providing a supermarket?
Well, that should have been a planning issue.
And you're not sure that it isn't?
That should have been the number one thing. Look, living in Australia, you saw how cities were made and new subdivisions were developed, not just selling it off to the highest bidder down all the land. You know, your developers are buying up all the land. Should have created a shopping centre to start with, and then growing out from that.
So, can I just follow on from that? Because the city has got a number of small shopping areas.
It's not
Which
small.
had-
We don't want to be looking at small shopping areas. You want to be looking at
Okay, shopping areas. And what impact do you think that has on the CBD?
on the CBD. Well, no one wants to go to the CBD. Have you been to the CBD?
Yes, I
Like-
had.
Derelict, depressing, dangerous place that you can walk into. You know, I was there on Thursday week ago, and walking through, I got threatened. I got asked if I wanted to buy drugs, and shit, I had a film crew with me. You know, you want to buy drugs and get on camera? Awesome. That's exactly where I want to go for a walk. You know, I don't want to go over there and go out for dinner, and shit, it took me half an hour to find a car park. That's ridiculous. You know, absolutely ridiculous that you can create a CBD that no one wants to come to. It's absolutely amazing. You know, the people that were there were the people that were working there, and there was no one in the restaurants and no one in the shops.
So what would you do to rectify that?
Yeah, that's it. Fuck, that's going to be the biggest issue with the CBD and the council is how are you going to bring people back in? How can you bring people back into a CBD when people don't want to go there? You know, people can't find a car park. You know, they've done what they've done to try and provide car parking for some. No, you still have to pay for parking, which is understandable. You got to sustain that. You know, there's guys driving around in their little council cars with cameras on the side taking photos because you've been in the car park too long. That's crazy. You know, what a waste of absolute money. You know, there's a technology there that when you park in car parks, that will tell you that they've parked there too long. You know, imagine the cost of paying for someone to drive around in the vehicle to take pictures of people's cars. You know, look at this Blake Park scenario. They removed all the car parks and now people park on the grass and they get a $40 ticket come next week. That's crazy. You know, where should we park? Up the side streets. And what happens on the side streets all fill up. Where do they park then? They just park on the closest grass.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we're coming to the end. We've nearly finished. What would your aspiration for the city to be?
My aspiration for the city is to stop looking at the people that live there as actually taking the piss. You know, we need to make Tauranga a better place that people actually want to come to and stay here and spend their money. The Mount is great for it. Tauranga is not. You know, absolutely not. You know, we need to create like the amazing design that they've done for the CBD. Really cool. Should have been started 10 years ago to have it now. The technology is moving too fast and people are getting sick of it, and I'm getting sick of actually just wasteful spending on it. Our roads are super high and they just keep going up. You know, we need to limit that increase. The increase, it's not a huge amount over the next 10 years, but it is still enough that, you know, makes me question, should we be here? Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Anthony. Good luck with your campaign, and I hope that it goes well for you. And remember to vote. Remember to tell people to vote because it's the most important part of this whole thing. And share this through your own channels. And follow us on thepodhub.com. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Good day.
Yes. See ya.
Bye.
See ya.
Tune in to the next episode of Know Your Candidate to be informed on who you want to run your city. Got feedback and like to comment your thoughts on the episode? Connect with Know Your Candidate on social. This has been the podhub.com experience. Check out the podhub.com for other podcasts and how you can even do your own.